Now, when he talks about family karma, the way that Hellinger talks about that is family conscience and then consciousness in the family. The individual family conscience has to do with the sense of belonging. And so there are patterns that families develop that show them that this is their family, these are the traits of the family, these are the characteristics, these are the things we do if we are a member of this family. And so it sets the boundaries for belonging. And family members who don't go along with that family identity are often ostracized. People don't want to talk to them anymore, or they're out of the picture, they leave, there's a lot of conflict, and they aren't included in the family. So the family bonds get disrupted. And so that's part of family constellations work. So wherever somebody's been excluded in a family, there will often be problems in the next generations down the line. One story that was told to me was about a young girl, currently, modern young girl, who was out sort of behaving like a prostitute in Los Angeles. And she didn't need to. She didn't need the money. Our family was very well off. She was educated. She was just behaving in a very off-the-wall manner, and nobody could figure it out. The family was very upset about it. And it turned out that there had been an aunt who had been ostracized from the family because she married somebody they didn't approve of. She ended up in Paris as a prostitute. But nobody ever talked about her. She was the big secret in the family. So wherever there are family secrets like that, it's very common for the next generation down the line to act it out without realizing why. And psychotherapy is never going to get to that kind of stuff because it's not about the individual psyche. It's about they're carrying the burden of a whole family situation where somebody was excluded. And so we look at exclusions in family concept. When I say we look at it, we don't analyze it. We just, it emerges when we do the constellation. The other thing we look at in family constellations is a kind of loyalty that keeps people really in bondage. So a daughter might have cancer because her mother had it and she doesn't want her mother to get it again. So this is all unconscious. She might have cancer. Now, the medical profession always says that there's a possibility that we inherit that. Well, Hellinger questions, is it really inherited or is it part of the family psyche? Was there something, so I'm going to give you an example, and the girls have said that I could share this. In my training program, I have two girls who are Orthodox Jews, and they're sisters, and they took the training, and I demonstrated family constellations. And one of them was very concerned because they have a history of breast cancer in the family. It goes back 2 or 3 generations that they know of. So we did a constellation, and interestingly enough, one of the sisters was pregnant at the time. And so she represented the mother who had died when these girls were very young. And then the girl that was the client, her sister, sat next to me, as you'll do when we do constellations, and we selected some people to represent the grandmothers on the mother's side, back a couple of generations. Well, you can well imagine some of them were in the Holocaust. So there was a lot of stuff going on here that had to do with the Holocaust and feeling like victims and being victims. And when we talked to the representatives for the grandmothers, they said, that was then, this is now, these girls don't need to carry this burden anymore. They don't need to have breast cancer. We didn't know what to do about it. We didn't have a choice, and that was that. But they're in a different place in time, and they have tools. And I mean, these are just words coming out of these representatives' mouths. And the result was a kind of relief in these girls' faces that you could see tangibly. Because they've been carrying this fear for a long time. All of the girls in that family were carrying that fear. And now that they have their own children and are having more children, they didn't want to pass it down and they didn't want to carry it anymore. So I'm quite confident that these girls are not going to develop breast cancer. And when they have one of them has had some symptoms of problems with their breast, she does my work, which is dialoguing with body parts, to find out what's happening right now. And it's always a message about you're not nurturing yourself enough. You're taking care of everybody else, and you're not taking care of you. So every time they do these right-hand, left-hand dialogues using my books, they get that message. So what they're doing is they're staying current with, okay, what's your stuff right now? And, you know, we pretty much cleared the ancestral line. Your ancestors don't want you to have this. You're not being loyal to your family by having breast cancer, in other words, at the unconscious level. So they've been given permission to let go of that. And now they can just deal with what is really theirs. If they are not taking steps to nurture themselves, the body part that represents that for a woman is going to speak up. And that's what they do, is that work. So the combination of family constellations and the work that I do is very complementary. It really works together. So we can deal with our own individual stuff, but we can also look at the family issues, family ancestry.